Tonight on Podcast Them Down, the entire crew of the USS Enterprise dies in the first 5 minutes.
Cool.
Podcast them down.
Hail, Metal Universe. It is we, Podcast Them Down, the Metal Universe's premier metal podcast, and we are continuing our metal rewatch of Star Trek, the original series, where we are rating the goodness and metalness of every episode. Goodness? The quality.
Goodness. I'm changing all the things in the spreadsheet to goodness right now.
Goodness is so subjective, Tim.
The quality, which is, yes, thank you for bringing up that word. These are objective scores that we will be agreeing upon or arguing about to get the best possible data quality, because we owe it to you, the listener.
And right. Tim watches the episode live to remove all the bias.
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
Yep. So
he's the control group.
I'm looking forward to them all dying right away. It's gonna make it hard to do 2 more seasons, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's strange that the episode ends and everyone's dead.
Well, they've done it before. There was a different captain in the pilot, you know.
Yeah. This is the beginning of the Robert April years.
All right.
Was that a joke I don't get?
Yep.
Okay.
You'll get it in 3 or 4 years.
Where's my laughter? There it is. I also got this handy.
Yeah, keep that. Actually, we'll need that soon.
Right here? All right.
Yeah, that one.
So we open with the Enterprise en route to Star Cluster NGC 321.
I'm going to go ahead and hit play. I do have to interrupt you. I am watching the remastered, the HD one. So, all right, go ahead.
So the Enterprise is en route to NGC 321 to open up a planet to diplomatic relations. We immediately meet the asshole ambassador of the episode. This guy is Robert Fox. The Enterprise receives a 710 warning from Meteor 7, the primary planet of the star cluster. And that code 710 is to stay away at all costs. Though, interestingly, the ambassador doesn't know what it means.
Yeah. He seems singularly unqualified to do his job, like many of the people we've met on the original series.
His jacket is ridiculous.
His jacket is amazing, and I want to buy that jacket. But, this is not the fault of the missing personnel director. This is I think there's a wider systemic personnel issue in Starfleet.
If I may go back to the jacket, it's like he gave his dress shirt measurement in centimeters, thinking they were inches.
Yeah.
Right? And they come back with this huge collar. That's what it's like.
And, what we discover immediately is something we've seen before, which may speak to the quality of Starfleet's diplomatic instruction and the personnel assigned to it at this point in time. But in any case, Ambassador Fox orders Kirk to open the planet up, even if it risks war. So they put on yellow alert and head in there, peacefully or not.
Again, it's a strange sentiment for someone who's trying to establish peaceful diplomatic relations to say, whether we have to shoot our way out or not, we're going in.
That it?
That's it.
All right.
That's a teaser.
Let's go deliberate. Something pedantic. They call the planet 710. Is that correct?
No, that's the code.
That's the code 710.
Okay.
The planet. Absolutely.
Hey, it's hard to read. I'm reading the captions while I'm listening to you. Oh,
the planet is MNR 7.
So, but doesn't that imply it's the 7th planet of the star MNR? Is that how these are named?
Yeah. It's the 7th planet in the ISENMOR system.
Okay. Go ahead. That was my complaint. Because I misread while you were talking.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Well, the admiral is very metal. It goes without saying.
Yeah, in all ways.
And the fact that they are practicing gunboat diplomacy, and then many of the fans of this show will never acknowledge that's what's going on. That's pretty metal too.
This is even beyond, like, even in the era of like Commodore Perry and gunboat diplomacy, this is just wanton and reckless. This is somehow beyond. This is more belligerent and more just kind of fuck all attitude than just regular old gunboat diplomacy.
We can't factor this now, but don't we learn in the next act that this is entirely out of the self-interest of the Federation?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like if this was the captain saying it, it seems like he's just trying to pad his resume for the for the promotion. But an ambassador is an appointed position, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he was appointed by the Federation president, confirmed with the advice and consent of the Federation Council. So yeah, no, I mean, this guy.
I'm gonna make them peaceful or kill them trying.
Yeah,
and this could be an example of sort of the perils of simplified goal setting, because this guy is probably trying to meet some numbers for his yearly performance evaluation.
Things didn't work out with the neutral planet. By the way, that was the best joke in that Futurama, the neutral planet, and apparently they cut out a bunch of neutral jokes, and I wish they left them all in. Anyway.
Now, Doug doesn't know this, but according to Federation, the first 150 years, a licensed textbook, after the incidents of this episode, Ambassador Robert Fox will go on to found the Nimbus 3 Treaty and become the first developer of Paradise City.
All right.
I hate that song.
So there you
back
go.
in my heart, clearly.
All right. For goodness, I'd say there's not too much to go on, so I don't really have a positive or a negative score. I'm going to go with a perfectly tepid 5. The threat of violence against and recklessness, those are both pretty metal. I'm going to go up to 8 on that one.
Okay.
The fact you don't know a universal communications code related to diplomacy, and you're in this role, and you don't care.
Yeah,
that's really metal.
That is metal.
That's like there's a gale warning. Like he's on a destroyer. Ambassador, there's a gale warning, and he's like, full speed ahead. I'm in fucking charge here.
All right, I got a handy. There we go.
Yep.
Go into the waves.
No, turn the ship a broadside.
Yeah, there we go.
Go across the waves. It's safer. Yeah. So I agree with you. It's kind of a middling quality. Nothing has really happened. It's a 5 quality, but it's a 9 metal. This Robert Fox might be the metalist man alive in the 23rd century.
Yeah, I'm almost there. I'm 8 and 5.
All right.
Nice. All right, let's get out of here.
That was pretty speedy.
It was. We're attempting to compress our time.
Too much talking. Keep it going.
Keep going.
No, let me talk about this more. We've been under the impression that our episodes are often a little too... Okay, let's...
Well, you see.
All right, I've already hit play and they're talking, so go.
Okay, so they're talking, and
he said they were this planet was at war with their nearest neighbor, which I assume would be 6 or 8, right?
Okay, so it's actually 3. Again, this comes from the script rather than the text of the episode itself. But so they're at war with a planet called Vendikar, which is on the third planet of the system. But apparently, Vendikar is a colony of MNR7. MNR7 is the home world, and the Vendikars at some point left.
This ambassador looks like he hasn't slept in days. He's got the huge bags under his eyes. And what's up with his earlobes? They're huge.
I mean, also, you can't hear him, but I believe he is a heavy space cigarette smoker. Just from context clues.
Got it.
Okay, so they get to the planet. Now, strangely, even though Ambassador Fox is really in a hurry to get to this planet that was broadcasting the universal signal of "Don't come here," he then decides to stay on the ship. So Spock, Kirk, our notable character Yeoman Tamura, who everyone acts like we know who she is, but she's just in this episode, and then two security randos beam down.
These fucking
they beam down to the headquarters of the government. So they basically just
which has a monorail with no one waiting for it.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful city. There's a monorail, but they basically, again, we know that this planet is saying stay away at all costs. They beam down to the White House lawn. And everyone's just kind of like, "Oh, hey." It seems fine. They meet a handsome woman, Mia 3. All the people have like a first name, like a personal name, and then a number. And I know what you're thinking. Well, there's got to be something to this whole like Mia 3 thing. No, there's not. They just are names and numbers. What do they mean? We don't know. But she welcomes them and says you shouldn't come here because of the war. She does
more than that. She congratulates Kirk on his instrumentation.
Sure
did. That's right. Yeah.
And lets them know they come right to the division of control.
That's right. Yeah. It's like you pinpointed the White House lawn exactly. You guys are really smart.
Who are these guys following her with their ridiculous hats?
Oh, they're
at the very beginning of the act, Spock quickly mentions that the USS Valiant had a Federation ship had come here 50 years earlier.
Yes.
As another one of these ships that just vanishes.
Again,
may or may not find out some things.
You know, we should have a Star Trek series about all these 22nd century starships that just get blowed up. It could be like a tragic comic series.
Yeah. It'll be like every episode. What was that? Black Mirror. You know how every episode was a different cast?
Like we get to see the Archon slaughtered. We get to see the Valiant slaughtered.
It could be like Mayday. And then the second half is a contemporary analysis of what went wrong.
Yeah.
I'm liking these space typewriters in the next scene.
We should also point out that this is the USS Valiant, not the SS Valiant that crossed the galactic barrier. And everyone got god powers. This is a different ship.
Yes, that's important. Thank you, Matt.
Which you can do because the USS Valiant got blowed up.
Right, yeah.
All right. So Me 3 leads the gang straight to the High Council, who sit in the corner of an empty room.
With their space typewriters.
As you do. Well, there's a war on.
And we learned that no treaty is possible due to this 500-year war. Spock decrees that everything he witnesses is peaceful in the extreme. Then we witness the war start. There's an attack right on the city.
There's like alerts and lights start going off, like someone's shining a spotlight on the big paper map they have on the wall, so shit's getting critical. All the pointy hatted guys, the leather penis hat guys, like I guess are just they're flipping out. And so we learn, unfortunately, that there has been an attack, and it's devastating what happened.
500,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
They order counterattacks. And is this the part where Spock recognizes the scientific logic to this calculus of war.
Yeah.
But he does not approve, which Anon assumes he would.
Yeah, so they have this nice little back and forth, where like Spock, is kind of saying like, "Oh, I understand what you're doing," and Anon looks, exactly like you say, like for approval, and Spock does not approve. But it seems strange because even though we're told about this attack, even though it's happening in the very city, there's no explosions. Yeoman Tamura can't detect anything on her tricorder. It's very strange.
I like how they're fact checking them in real time. They call up to the Enterprise too, and they're like, "I see anything on the surface?" They're like, "Nope." And then another flashlight appears on the map.
Yeah, so Kirk asks, like, what weapons are they using? And they're like, fusion bombs, you idiot.
It's a tri-cobalt satellite weapon.
Yeah, there's tri-cobalt satellites as well. So, they're doing the triage, and they discover that, 500,000 people died. And they Spock deduces that this war is fought with computers. But herein lies the problem. So basically, Anon tells them that they have a system that registers where the attack happened. And so if the attack is in like neighborhood B, everyone in neighborhood B understands that they've been killed in attack, and they have 24 hours, which I think is actually quite convenient to report to the disintegration machines.
What?
Yeah. So basically they're fighting a simulated war with actual casualties. And so Anon says, you have to understand, we've been at war for 500 years. Under ordinary conditions, no civilization could withstand that. So we reached a solution. And Spock is trying to figure out what's going on. He's like, so it was a theoretical attack? And Anon is like, no, it's a real attack. It's mathematically launched. My wife died last week. And so basically they've just structured their society around this theoretical computer simulation war. But when you die in the war, of course you're dead. That just makes sense.
The people have a high consciousness of duty.
Right, exactly. And so they all just go and do it. But so Kirk is giving everybody the usual, like, look at these idiots, look around. And they're like, okay, well, too bad for that. I think it's messed up that you guys disintegrate each other, but we're gonna leave. And Anon says, not so fast, Captain Kirk, because when your ship entered orbit, you became a legitimate target. We warned you, and it has been destroyed by a tri-cobalt satellite. So just like everyone else in the area that was bombed, the crew of the Enterprise has 24 hours to beam down to the planet and report for disintegration.
Because they're already dead.
Yeah, they're dead. They've been dead. The attack happened. That's a fact.
I like how Kirk goes to pull out his phaser or something, and they're like, no, and they point another weapon at him.
Yeah. So they have these disruptors.
Is he dead or just the crew of the ship?
They're still alive.
They're still alive, but they're keeping them prisoner, just because they need him to convince the crew of the Enterprise to beam down
for disintegration.
Exactly.
All right.
That's it.
Let's go. I like in there was that Simpsons when the wars of the future will be fought by robots, and your mission is clear to build and maintain those robots.
Mm-hmm.
They must have watched this episode before doing that.
Probably.
Before writing that Simpsons joke. Yeah.
So let's see. I think I do like. I think Yeoman Tamura just comes because she happens to have been on the bridge. I guess she's the yeoman on duty.
Yeah, she's the yeoman on duty.
And then they know immediately what goons to bring. Beam down.
I like it's just it's like you're playing tag.
Yeah.
or dodgeball, right? You get hit with the ball. Now go report for death.
Yeah, it's like you're out, man.
I got you. But it's not even that. It's you're just sitting there minding your own business. Now you have to report for death.
What?
Well, it's probably inspired by the degree to the neutron bomb.
Yeah, well, that actually was sort of one of the inspirations of this episode, so that it would be, especially the tri-cobalt. So the cobalt device was another theoretical Cold War device that would obliterate enemy troops but leave their equipment behind. So it makes sense. Like there's an internal logic in the weapons they're using and the effects, I guess.
All right, so but for a simulation, for the other side to agree to the simulation you're using.
Well, I think it's a joint simulation.
Oh, they worked on it together.
Yeah. Well, I think they were fighting it's implied. It's not exactly spelled out, but it seems like this was the product of some kind of negotiation, as we'll see. I think they were fighting
blockchain powered tech.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
it's a generative death model.
Oh yeah, we just disintegrated all those people. Didn't put them on a ship heading to your planet and to fucking destroy you. No, we didn't do that.
Everyone else has trust in the system.
Yeah. Because it's like mutually assured destruction. If you don't trust each other.
Yeah, but it's like playing hockey. If you play by the rules, you're going to lose. You got to play up to the line and hope you don't get caught.
That's more of the reasons why
civilization on the brink 500 years ago.
Yeah. It's destructive to fight a war. And that's also why you had led your league in penalty minutes, I believe.
Yeah, well, but come on. The Summit Series, Canada versus Soviet Union, would they have won? Yeah. Would they really have won if they didn't literally break the fucking ankle of their best player?
No, okay, yeah, no, that's true.
By the way, the Philadelphia Flyers, a couple of years later, beat them again. They were the only NHL team to beat them. Same guy on the team.
If the Second World War had been resolved through mathematical means, think about how much better off we all would have been.
We could go to Dresden Cathedral right now.
Yeah, but I was about to say something that would never make it to air, so I'm not going to say.
All right. Maybe. Yeah, so, right. So, okay, so we've only just begun to think about this craziness. But still, I do like the fact that it gives you the premise straight up. This isn't like some of those other episodes, like the festival, where they're just like stringing us along for like 2 or 3 acts. They're just like, bam, computers, simulated war, disintegration stations. Everything we need is right here, like presented neatly in a nice pacing, nice package.
And even foreshadow is the wrong word, but there's a conversation between Mia and her helpers before they even make it down. Yeah.
Matt, you saw my message. Okay.
Ordered. I mean, you saying that would be very metal.
Yeah, that would be very metal.
Yeah, but I do enough metal things in a day.
You met your metal quota.
That's right.
It's almost hard to vet because this is like classy metal.
Yeah.
Like it's not blasphemy. It's like, is this intellectual concept?
Yeah, it's like the metal equivalent of William F. Buckley.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's throw some numbers at this thing.
It's an 8 quality, and so what is? I mean, the whole taking war to this extreme is pretty metal. But I mean, war. There's a lot of symbolic stuff to war, death, blood. All that's not here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, right? Because like the ordering someone. This is the way I view it. Ordering someone to go into a disintegration booth, pretty metal.
Right. This excessively rational technocratic process just sort of stampeding you, or in your subconscious, or conscious, rather.
But then you willingly walking into the disintegration booth, not metal.
Because a computer said you're dead.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's where the Ayn Rand, will to
the Ayn Rand
to fight, be unique.
Yeah, Ayn Rand.
So I don't know. I'm kind of torn because they took anything exciting out of war and made it into dialogue and flashlights. Like
the flashlights, though.
I didn't think it was very good. But you know, clearly, if in this war they didn't follow the rules, if they are in fact that advanced, people would be fucking vaporized. So maybe the threat of that is kind of metal, but I can't. Yeah. I don't know. They took something excited and made it dialogue. What's that?
Metal's all about the box.
Right, be in the box.
You can't fucking step out of this box, or it's all done. You're done.
But if you did, fucking vaporization. That's metal too. So I don't know. I'm gonna go 5 because instead of action, it was talking, and maybe there'll be some action later. And then, but I do like that the crew has been condemned and must report to the disintegration whatever pit. But is it metal? I'm gonna split the difference and give it a 7.
7. Doug, what was your metal score? Did you determine a metal score?
I'm an 8 quality.
Yep.
And I think Tim's right. It's a 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with both of you. So I will give it a 7.
I am on top of shit tonight.
And an 8 quality score. Okay, all right, that sounds good.
I'm gonna dig myself, and let's get out of here.
All right. Okay, now this is where the logic of the attack starts to break down, because I think Mia was in the room with them, but she reveals that she died in the attack.
Wait,
according to the system.
Wait, in the 24 hours before you have to report, do you get to just like do whatever? Like, could you like go do a ton of space heroin or something, or like?
I don't know. I mean,
say goodbye to fly to Europe, whatever, space Europe.
I think they're socialized to accept what's coming.
I mean, we meet the people, and they seem genuinely fine about it. So, like, no one's really upset. But I think it's just kind of, you need to make sure someone knows how to do your job. You need to, like, make sure the plants are watered, like, feed the cat. I think
be the worst of this. I'd go do everything I've been wanting to do.
Well, you're just not a good...
I don't care if someone... I'm just not a good person on that planet, I guess.
Yeah, you're just not a good Eminarian, I guess.
Yeah. So my thought on it, Matt, is that they have a lot of death and destruction to simulate, right? You can't actually figure out where everyone's is. You work from where they're meant to be.
Okay. So it's like by address or by mailing address?
Yeah. But it's like the that not good SimCity game where the people would go to work, that the 2013 one.
Okay, yeah.
And then they get the traffic model okay, but it was too complicated to actually put them back in their house. So they just go back to the nearest house.
That's right.
And that's the cycle.
Okay, yeah, okay. That makes sense. Okay, so yeah. I meant maybe even there's some like random chance built in. So like it will select your address and like roll a simulated D100 to decide if you okay, yeah, we can build all that stuff in. Yeah, so she's just kind of like, well, I guess I'll be going to the disintegration station then. See you later, Captain. And Kirk's all upset and yelling at her. And you know, don't you want to live? Why are you gonna die? You know, all these kind of William Shatner things. And
throw away all your beliefs because I'm yelling at you right now.
Yeah.
Everything you've ever known,
everything you've ever believed is wrong. And so Kirk is mad because remember, she's a sexy chick. So, you know, even though millions of people are you know, going to report to the transmogrification disintegration station, Kirk is very upset that Mia is going to go, particularly. So he tries to reason her out of it. But, you know, she is stalwart. She believes in the system.
I do like Kirk's line was like, life means you just report and die. That would be a pretty metal song. Report and die.
Report and die. Or at the very least, a pre-chorus.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so then we go back up to the Enterprise, and there's some chicanery going on. So we have Kirk and McCoy. They haven't been able to raise the landing party in a while, and they're just trying to figure out what's going on. And so they're just kind of talking back and forth when all of a sudden Uhura says, oh, we have a call coming in and it's Captain Kirk. And he's all smiles and Captain Kirk, just voice. He's like, hey, good news. They've agreed to full diplomatic relations. And even better, they're giving us all shore leave. So please have everyone beam down and have a great time. And Scotty, to his credit, is a little suspicious. And we soon learn what's going on because we get a quick cut to the war room. And old Anon 7 is something of a trickster. So did they explain how he can do this? Is just something he can do, Doug?
Yeah, we never actually see him do it, right?
I mean, yeah, we
see the Enterprise's end.
Yeah. So somehow they're simulating his voice, but it's unclear how they are.
Tim, to get a third opinion, on the wall in the war room, is there a floral arrangement that is an inverted cross? Note that if you see it, because we'll need it for the metal score.
They're still talking. Maybe he's just a talented mimic.
Maybe he's like radio's Mike O'Mara, I guess. So he
pre-2000,
pre-2010,
let's say.
2008.
It should be noted that Scotty in that initial scene with McCoy says there's nothing he can be doing, which is on brand, possibly true.
Yeah, I mean, he was very clearly put in charge and is very clearly avoiding all work, which again is a great insight into the life of Mr. Scott. And so they tell the Captain Kirk that they'll start forming landing parties, and they turn off the radio. And they immediately, both McCoy and Scott are suspicious. They have the computer analyze the captain's voice, and they give him a 98% probability that it was a voice duplicator. So now they have to figure out what the hell they're going to do. Meanwhile, this act has a lot of kind of like switchy cuts. So now we're in the room where all the landing party is being held. And again, we hear the word Vulcanians. And so we find out that Vulcanians have inherent telepathic abilities, but they're limited. And so Spock is able to mind meld with people through a door.
Well, that totally is an inverted cross.
Oh, you saw it. Oh man. So yeah. So why
do this through? He's doing it through like the cement wall. Does he ever do that again?
No, he always has to touch.
Yeah,
he even touched the fucking whale. Like
why did he both through the door and the wall?
Yeah, maybe there's like a particular resonance or something, or the Amarians have a well, like Ferengi, for example, couldn't be read by Beta Zeds. So maybe Amaris are like particularly attuned to Vulcan telepathic abilities somehow. But anyway, so they control the douchey penis hat guy, and basically he like tricks him to come inside.
Then he does an Austin Powers judo chop on him.
Yeah, then they do judo chop, and they take his little gun because they took their communicators and their phasers and such. So then they go off. I guess they tie him up. Like they knock him out. Tamora asks, like, what do we do now? And Kirk and Spock say, like, we're gonna go get our communicators and contact the ships and steal more weapons. So you watch on to this guy. Okay, this is just a minor thing, but they have the guy they knocked out in the room with them, and they have his gun, but Kirk takes the gun. So he kind of just like leaves a person. They don't know how long he'll be knocked out. Hopefully Tamora and the two security goons can take this guy, but they have no understanding of their strength or abilities or anything. They're just like, you'll be fine.
I think they all go with them at this juncture.
They all go?
Met Tim in the hallway scene where they go up to the Destructo machine. It's all of them, isn't it? Because they have to awkwardly hide, like five people behind.
And the yeoman buries her face behind Spock while the rest of them are like...
Okay, all right. So they just leave the guy in the room. Okay.
Man, that disintegration booth is lame.
Well, what do you want it to look like?
I don't know. I was maybe frosted glass so you can watch them disintegrate in somewhat like a
watch people dissolve into ashes.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Okay, that would be cool.
Just it's another chance for more action. Yeah, and there's a line. There's a line for the disintegration booth too.
Well, yeah, I mean,
the Roach Motel line.
Yeah,
I mean they go in, but they don't come out.
That's right.
Yeah, so we see the disintegration machine briefly. Then Mia reappears, and then Kirk further interferes with the 500-year-old social process.
Yep.
It also announces that he's just getting started.
Prime directive is just like guidelines.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
And then Kirk and Spock team up to destroy the machine.
Spock seems really willing to go along with this.
This whole planet's going to get bombed to shit now.
I can understand Kirk doing this, but Spock's participation and complicity in all this is a little puzzling to me. Because he at no point does he like, well, maybe we should just try to escape. They're like, hell yeah, we're blowing up the disintegration booth.
Gotta throw a monkey wrench at this machinery.
For those listening, this booth looks like a revolving door without the revolving door in it.
No, it literally is like, whoop. It's like it looks like a dumb like magic trick, or like I think I had the Hall of Justice
Yes.
Playset.
That's exactly. All right. So go Google
Like,
Hall of Justice playset from the 80s.
You can spin it, and then like Batman will disappear, and then they'll spin it again, and Batman will come back out. It's that thing.
Yeah. I'm looking at it. Now. Dude, I remember that fucking thing. Do we still have that somewhere?
I'm sure it's at Mom's house.
1984 Kenner. It's so that thing could be worth like only
$20.
Only $140 if you buy it from Dallas Vintage Toys.
Oh,
you know, so you know they're gonna give you half that if you sell it.
Yeah,
to one of them.
But if we sell it, undercut them $135 on eBay.
Matt, I can't remember.
I don't want to sell it. I want to keep it.
Okay, all right.
When Spot goes up to the guard and says there's a multi-leg creature crawling on his shoulder, does he just say that persuasively, or is there like some conjuring element that we never see again?
Yeah, I think
he has demonstrated his telepathic abilities. I think he's.
Does he? I think it's just a distraction. I just thought he neck pinched him after that.
Yeah.
But again, it just seems weird. I was like, "What? Why did you say that? You could have just." The whole point of the neck pinch is it's a stealth attack. Like you don't need to present him in any particular way. It seems perfect to like come up behind and just bloop, rather than I don't know.
Okay, the prices for these things are all over the place. $80, $617. $880, $400, $280, $20.
$20. That's got to be fucked up.
That's the deal.
Well, we can't review the metalness of that toy without having one. So
yeah, we'll have to bring. I'll
more
find
patrons.
Yeah.
Or did we go into the chamber? Are we supposed to be there?
No, we're still talking.
Okay, because I already got to this one. I got to the act break.
Okay, so we cut back to the the High Council room. Anon 7 is busy trying to destroy the Enterprise, but he does learn that the disintegration bay 12 has been destroyed and the humans have escaped.
Well, I was thinking that this is like Kirk is escalating things, right? I think he's like, well, you know what? We're gonna fucking blow up his ship for real now. Because he's already blown up a disintegration station, so I feel like it's like tit for tat. It's very logical still.
And this is the dangers of escalation. May or may not be applicable in the real world right now.
Yeah,
but in the chamber, let's go.
Yep. I think it's metal as fuck to ruin these people's traditions. It's not even traditions, but like this delicate piece that has been brokered. And if, like I was saying, if the other side finds out you're not disintegrating your people,
well, and
they're going to use real weapons, like they said.
Yeah.
Kirk's not even really coming from a position of a consistent moral stand. He's not even listening to them.
Yeah.
He's just imposing his own values kind of blindly on them without even awareness of that fact.
And chance that is the only... They landed in a city. They show one disintegration booth that's the size of one person. They get bombed repeatedly. There's a lot more of these disintegration chambers.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, this is not... Kirk is not trying to stop it as much as he is just blindly reacting to the situation he's in.
This is all very metal of him.
There is no systematic plan, for example, to prevent people from getting into the disintegration station. He just watches them. He doesn't even yell, "No, stop." He lets the one guy disintegrate himself, and then it's just like, all right, this one's closed, and they blow it up. So yeah, he doesn't even say like, we need to figure out how many of these are. We need to figure out how they're powered. We need to stop people from going into them. This is just blind rage, like smashy time.
So the other thing is, after this thing's on fire, and there's finally some, something besides talking. The people aren't really running; they're kind of like jogging.
Well, I think
they're in shock.
Yeah, because also they probably haven't. These people have never experienced real violence. It's all been simulated. So I wish, I think it's just that they were lazy 60s background actors, but I would like to think that that's why they're reacting like that, even though they're probably just like, which way do I go? When's my cigarette break? Like, do I get paid scale for this?
Yeah, I mean, it's like someone blundering into your temple or your courthouse or something sacred to you and the collectively important, and then just destroying it and then yelling at you.
Yeah, your Bible is a lie.
Go away, All right,
the Vatican.
Jeez. I don't know. I think this was a little more better. There's still room for improvement. I'm going 6.5 on quality. The metalness, just the arrogance, and then the Spock like just going with the flow. That's pretty metal too.
And doing shtick.
We can't forget about the inverted cross.
Inverted cross. Yeah, I'm gonna go 9.6 on the metalness.
Okay.
Thanks for reminding me about that.
I mean, I'm gonna give it an 8 in metal score, including the inverted cross, and I'm actually gonna give it a 7 quality score. I think this. As much as I like this act, I think I think the pacing could have been better. I think there's a little too much like blundering around, and I don't know about YouTube, but it sort of takes me out of the tension because there's just like a lot of like ambling around. Like there doesn't seem to be a particular hurry. Or they're just like, oh, we could go down this way. And, just like the way they're sneaking around, like they don't seem to care all that much. Well, they're hiding, but not hiding.
And like every little scene in the first act contributed to moving the story along and building. This is all over the place. This is just getting some things out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I concur. It's an 8 and a 7.
All right. Look how speedy we're being.
So we open with the Enterprise nearly being disrupted.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So they open fire on the Enterprise. Luckily, the one guy was watching the flashy light, so he knew to put the shields up.
Then I have noted that Scotty kind of flippantly suggests nuking the planet.
I'm not even sure that it's flippant.
Yeah. I'll lob some torpedoes, whatever.
But luckily our personal hero, Ambassador Fox, as soon as they're about to respond for being fired upon without any real warning, the ambassador says, "You're gonna fuck up our diplomatic mission," and so he takes command of the Enterprise. Again, how he can do this, why he's doing this, where he's been, why he doesn't listen to Scott and McCoy when they say that they're impersonating the captain and they've just fired on us. No, he doesn't have time for their bullshit briefings. He already knows what they need to do.
Oh, he denies that they're even holding the captain hostage.
Yeah, there's no evidence of that. He doesn't
have this authority, though.
He does. The Starfleet Command or the Federation Council gave him that authority, apparently.
And somehow at the end of this, Scotty makes doing nothing seem very heroic.
Yeah. Although also we have some great we have some great lines in this exchange too. So Scott says that the best diplomat he knows is an activated phaser bank.
That is a good line.
Oh, they've been flying around the uncharted galaxy doing gunboat diplomacy. So yeah,
he's like, if you'll check your regulations, you'll find that my orders get priority. And so he decides that he's gonna beam down there with his little aide, and so yeah,
he just kind of appears out of nowhere, right?
Yeah. We don't know. We've never seen him before. We'll never see him again. But yeah, so he's just like, I'm going down there, and leaves again. To deal with the matter himself, as a true diplomat would.
And then we learn that the away team is hiding in their prison cell.
Yeah, so they went back. Okay, now this is where. So they went back to where the unconscious guy is. And now they have a bunch of weapons. This is notable because this is the only time in the original series where a female character is given a weapon for the purposes of a pre-planned like security detail. So Kirk gives Tamora the gun and says, "Cover the door. We're going to go fuck around some more." They now have all their disruptors. They now have they have some clothing and penis hat things. So now they can sneak around undetected, even though that didn't seem to be a big priority
Right.
previously. And they've already blown up the one disintegration station. So what's the point of sneaking around? Everyone knows who did it. And you just went back to the room that they know you're in. On the stupid logic, that's the one place they wouldn't look. But yeah, that's the great Kirk bastard tactician's plan. And at one point he's holding a weapon and says, "We're gonna try and stop the killing," which is great.
We're trying to help, believe me.
And yeah, so Mia is still there with them too for some reason. I don't understand that at all. She's just kind of following them around.
Now listen to me. I'm trying to help you to save your life and the life of millions like you.
Okay, so now Fox is just talking with Anon. They agree to go downstairs. Like onto the planet. And it's just, again, Fox, even Anon is very upfront with him and is like, yeah, we're at war, we've been attacked, and he's like, okay, well, I'll keep giving orders, I'll go down there. And
and we learned that there's a grave crisis before all this, slightly because they're falling behind in their quotas.
Right? Yeah, because
this fragile system is fraying.
And if they don't, so there's some kind of communication between the systems. So the Vanicars will know if they don't actually disintegrate all the people for the allotments that the computer has calculated, and that will trigger an actual honest to goodness attack. So they're getting more frantic here too. And yeah, so this is already a dumb part of the episode, but it just keeps getting dumber. Like when Fox just belligerently yells at Scott for trying to prevent him from beaming down to certain doom. He says, like, I'm going to tell the Federation Council about you. And yeah, it's just it just gets very, very tedious here.
So here's where Scott makes doing nothing a patriotic duty.
He refuses to comply.
And then McCoy is sort of both defending and questioning Scotty's act. Like it's classic McCoy.
Like
well, now you've done it, Scotty.
Yeah, but he
talking
doesn't
about lowering
actually...
the screens. Is that supposed to be shields?
Yeah, that's the shields. But they
the haggis is in the fire for sure.
Yeah, again, they just had to throw a little, like, in case you forgot that Montgomery Scott is a Scott, we had to throw that in there. and so Kirk and Anan have another sort of long, drawn out
yeah, but he totally like
talk.
He totally acts like he's sneaking into the room and
he like
without turning around and goes, "Hey, Kirk."
He tiptoes in like he's gonna do something, and Anan is like, "Hey, do you want a drink, bro?"
And he complains that he destroyed disintegrator number 12, so there's at least 11 more.
No, I know what you're thinking, Tim, that they're drinking Tranya because it looks a lot like Tranya, but
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It is Trova, not Tranya. It's a totally different name for the grapefruit juice.
So, yeah, and Anan calls Kirk a barbarian.
Which he seems to really enjoy.
Yeah, and Kirk engages in some threats of personal violence, which are eventually ineffective, so he just threatens to destroy the planet.
Yeah. Yes. And so Kirk's plan is just to vaporize the planet. Because how does this work? They call is this when they call the Enterprise, or is that later?
I think this is, so they have a communicator, but Spock needs to potentially modify it to talk to the Enterprise.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so they, this is when he's like, yeah, you can go get your communicators. And so they just leave. And then meanwhile, the guards try and get him, and they beat up Kirk. It's just a dumb ploy. So Kirk demands that they get the communicators. And Anan says, well, you can go in the war room. It's the second left. They're unguarded. And then Kirk is like, okay, and starts walking down the corridor and gets beaten up.
And it's like he's expecting the ambush, but then he loses.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't seem particularly savage, but Anan seems surprised that he wasn't killed. Maybe because he has no understanding of how real violence works.
Yeah.
But they just kind of, give him a few things to remember. And he's like, Anan is like, is he still alive? Because I think a man like this would prefer to die fighting. But he's alive. Okay, and then meanwhile, Ambassador Spock and what's his name have beamed down, and Anan is now there. So I guess he keeps running around.
I think we're at the end of the act, Matt.
Oh, is that the end of the act?
Yeah, Tim.
I'm still. They're still.
Oh, you're right.
Talking.
You're right.
Well, so just to call out, there's a good exchange in that where Kirk's just belligerent to Anan, where Anan's like,
kick him in the penis
won't
head.
You have a drink? And then we can discuss our differences. And Kirk's like, I'm not interested in discussing our differences. Yeah. You don't seem to realize the risk you're taking. We don't make war with computers and herd casualties into suicide stations. We make the real thing, Councilman. I could destroy this planet.
That's right. Okay, that's right.
And then he claims he doesn't need a ship to destroy the planet, and that he can do it with merely a disruptor.
Which again, no, you can't, Captain. That's not how a disruptor works. We're pretty sure that these disruptors at least are based on sound waves. So, yeah, no.
But he really thinks that making destroying the planet with their own weapon is going to work.
Yeah,
You're right. It's an odd ploy, and then he just walks into the hall and gets the shit kicked out of him.
Okay.
Maybe he's.
I'm there
Is
now.
he really drunk? Is the Trova extremely alcoholic?
I
It
doubt
could be. All right, Tim, hit it.
I already did.
Oh.
I've been in here for minutes now.
Well, Matt and I are just walking in
Yeah,
now.
we're just walking
Sorry.
Okay.
We were in the antechamber.
That's the opposite of a chamber.
Oh, yeah. So don't put them together.
So, yeah, lots of talking, lots of dumb stuff.
Mhm.
I gotta go with a 5 again because it was
Oh.
offset by the fighting.
Yep.
So I guess a handful of them do know how to fight. No, I'm gonna bump that up to a 6 because
Okay.
I enjoyed the refusal to obey direct orders, and
And you like the haggis in the fire line.
right, and yeah, there was some metalness. They're like blowing up planets is metal, That's
Well, and
Part of what
multiple
made the-
people threatened to blow up the planet just sort of flippantly without
Yeah.
thought to consequence in this act.
and he could do it if he was on the ship, And and how can you forget the line about the phaser bang? The best diplomat is a fully charged phaser bang. Okay, so yeah, get that in itself gives
Okay,
it
that's pretty
another
metal.
half point. That'll be 6.5. And
All right.
whole thing's pretty metal. I'm going 8.5 on metal.
Okay. All right.
There.
Dead air.
I think this is a bit better than the last act.
Huh.
I like Kirk's lack of plan a lot. And then the way it doesn't work, and I don't think Kirk ever really internalizes the consequences of that, as usual. I like how multiple people just sort of threaten to blow up the planet if they want.
There's a
I
lot of planetary genocide just being thrown around.
I like Fox's willful disregard of evidence.
or just even advice.
Well, see, I'm assuming he's in cahoots with them somehow because that would explain his actions.
Let me give you a brief backgrounder on the situation. Fuck you. Here's what we're doing.
I think it's a it's a 7.5 quality.
Okay.
And a 9 metal.
Wow. Okay. I agree. I'm gonna say it's gonna maintain its 8 metalness from the last act. I am going to split the difference between the two of you and say it's also a 7. No, I'm gonna have to ding it a little bit in quality. I think it's a 6.75. It's a little more. It's a little sloppier, and it plods a little bit. I mean, I'm still invested in it, but
Yeah, and you're right. This is lacking the blasphemy of the last act, so it's an 8 in metal.
okay. All right, one more act to go.
I hit it.
Okay, and as I've
While you were
already
talking.
mentioned, so now Fox and nameless attaché, who doesn't even get as cool of a coat, beam down, and so they are escorted. It's almost like a repeat of the opening scene of the first act. So they beam down to the same place, but Anan is there to meet them. And he just starts walking with them. And you think they might be going to some negotiation or something, but instead, Anan and the guards just bring them straight to the disintegration station.
Well, they were on the ship and they're dead.
Well, yeah, no. So they kind of welcome them, and they're just like, "Oh, just come this way," and like, "Oh yeah, no." So now, you got to be disintegrated.
Did you not transport through the shields? Didn't they have to take the shields down?
Shut up, Tim.
Maybe there was a shift change, and the new
That's why
guys didn't
they're-
brief the old guys didn't brief the new guys. They have to open fire once the shields are down.
Maybe, yeah, or maybe I don't know. Maybe they
The
took
reference
advantage.
screens are a little bit older technology. Something
could
could
be.
cycles out for the next mission.
Although I'm pretty sure in Enterprise you can't transport when the screens are okay. We don't. Anyway, they closed it. They opened them for a microsecond and then reestablished them. Let's just say that. So Fox, again, this is a classic original series thing. So he was so convinced of everything, but then immediately he loses all of his compunction and composure. And it's just like, wait, you guys are trying to kill us? I've had no indication. No one's told me anything.
Well, my favorite part of all this is how Anon is so worried about the quota that even though he could use these two individuals to further other aims, he just wants to get him in the booth.
Right, yeah. He's just like, that's too closer to the number I need. Okay, but luckily, Spock has realized that they beamed down. So Spock ends up kind of saving them, and so they save the two. They destroy disintegration station 11.
He has a brief conversation with Scotty, who calls the ambassador a popinjay, which yes, which is quite the insult in those days.
I can't even believe that they left that in the episode.
Yeah, so they narrowly avoid the disintegration booth number 11.
Yeah, the fucking popinjay.
And for the record, they weren't really struggling. They were just kind of like, I don't want to go in there. So while you must go, there wasn't any scuffle.
Yeah, again, it's just like, oh, okay. They were upset about it, but they didn't particularly do anything about it. And so now they've gotten back in contact with the ship, kind of. And Spock, again, he's like part one of a two-part plan. So he orders the ship to get out of range of the enemy weapons, but stay within phaser range for them and just stand by. And he tells Tamura to find the ambassador and make sure that Mia doesn't kill herself. Again, a very uncharacteristic Spock thing to say. He says, knock her down if necessary. This is a killing situation.
That is a sample right there.
Yeah. This is a killing situation. Do what you must do to protect yourself.
Kiss her.
And it's just like, it's just like, okay. So they save Fox. The Enterprise is ostensibly safe now. And meanwhile, I guess they just beat up Kirk to bring him back to the council chamber to talk some more. Like, Anon is all over the place, right? So he met the ambassador. Now he's back in the council room. Like, he must just be running down the corridor to get everywhere. They could have had a second character. One of the penis hat guys, for example, would have worked in this thing. But no. So then they get into a conversation about how initially the war with Vindikar was killed. Was horrible. Millions of people were killed. Massive destruction, disease, disaster, starvation, and how horrible it was, and how blessed they are to have this new system that preserves their culture, that preserves everything, for a simple price of death, of people who are, have all bought into the system. And this is just their way. So this goes on. There's a lot of talking. Then
Anon, in a very incisive and queer-eyed way, explains the escalatory risk of all of this.
Right. Yeah.
Which there's the blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and it's just like if we don't do it, we're we're gonna have a real war, and nobody wants a real war. And Kirk reminds him that he's a barbarian. Okay, so now they're angry that the Enterprise is out of range. And so Anand calls them to yell at them. But before he basically says, "We have your captain, you have to comply." Again, I'm not sure how that is a good tactic, because they know the whole story now.
Yeah, so he told them they all have to beam down or we'll kill your crew people and the ambassador. But if they all beam down, they'll all get killed.
Yeah.
And did you mention that Kirk did, what is it, General Order 24 or something?
Yeah, so that's
which is destroy the planet.
Yeah, so as he calls the Enterprise, Kirk just yells out, "General Order 24, 2 hours, 2 hours."
Right. What are the 23? Like, why is destroy a planet 24? Because that either seems very high or very low to me.
So we know the Prime Directive is General Order 1.
So it only takes them 23 orders to get to destroy the
one
planet.
of them stay away from the brain people planet.
Yeah, I think that's General Order 7. General Order 7 is that you have to stay away from Talos 7, and under penalty of death, right?
The one thing that the death penalty is still warrants.
But we have to remember that was based when the Enterprise.
They're not penis hats, they're bowling pin hats. I see why.
Okay. The Enterprise first visited Talos 7 in 2254. Right? Or no, hold on. 2257.
Yeah, 10 years. Yeah.
2257. Roughly. It's roughly 10 years to the present day, right? So if there were more than 14 general orders in that 10-year time period.
Well, we're encountering a lot of things out there. The Federation needs resources, allies, and probably enemies too.
Yeah. Apparently it's given again in another episode. Wow. The General Order 12 is on the approach of any vessel when communications have not been established, but it's interrupted. Savick gives it. General Order number 12 is referenced on screen in the Star Trek Picard episode. General Order 13 is evacuation. General Order 15 is no flag officer shall beam into a hazardous area without an armed escort. These general orders are all over the place.
They're just stacked, or the writers or whatever, just going sequentially after 12.
Okay, so General Order 24 is blow up the whole planet. So now we have a ticking time element in addition to the ticking time element, neither of which are taken very seriously. So now it's just good old-fashioned Kirk craziness.
And there's kind of a Gulf of Tonkin moment here.
Yeah.
Where Kirk's basically, I'm going to finish your war.
Yeah. So Kirk is very adamant that they should have a real war, and that's what makes life worth living.
Yeah, it basically says war is supposed to be unpleasant. You've made it painless or clean or something, and so painless. In fact, you've had it for 500 years. War is supposed to be unpleasant, and you're supposed to be avoided.
Yeah, and it's just so he destroys the battle computer. So now
there's one battle computer. Well, there's like 4 of them, but like they're all in one room. There's no backup system from what I can tell. And and Spock knows immediately what each computer's function is. That one does casualties.
It's also very distressing, the terms of this treaty, because the 2 computers on the 2 planets are connected. But the moment a contact is broken, it abrogates the agreement between the 2 warring parties. So does that mean if the battle computer breaks, they just launch all their nukes? I mean, like, if it doesn't get the handshake every 30 seconds, like, it's just like, fire! It just seems... There seems to be a fail-safe that they're missing here.
This is totally a Cold War thing, you know.
Like, they can't call Vendikar and say, "Hey, some assholes are blowing up our our disintegration stations. Can you please just give us an extra 12 hours so we can sort this out?"
Right, because there is a red line, but it hasn't been used in centuries. And it's the resolution here. Well, they came up with a very stable system. It must be very Earth doesn't shake, whatever that's called. It must be very stable planets.
Yeah, so just all
clear skies, clean space.
Yeah, and so it just keeps going. Everything's in chaos. The computer is broken. The only hope is calling on the red line, like on the phone, and seeing if the Vendikar High Command will answer the phone. And that's it, right? Like, that's the only hope. Except, okay, Tim, have you finished this scene yet? What's going on?
They're talking.
Okay, they're talking.
The computer's blown up. They said they're just as terrified as you, and then the two guys just left to go see if the ancient phone works.
Okay, so again, so Fox, so somehow his
don't cancel Order 24 yet. Wait till you're on the ship. Okay.
Somehow that's a good point too. So somehow, I think the attaché was killed. Was he killed in something? Because he just disappears. Like, as soon as he was there, he was gone. I think he's the only person who actually dies in the exchange of disruptor fire. Because the red shirts don't die, Tamora doesn't die, but he dies for some reason. And so Fox, now, even though his only friend died, he's just like, "I'll help you negotiate and live here on the planet with you. I don't even need to get my bags. I have my only coat." And so he just agrees to help negotiate between the Vendikars and the planet. And everyone's like, "All right, see you later, asshole." And they beam back up to the Enterprise. And just get the fuck out of there. It's just,
there's some good Kirk here.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Jumping back a bit, I think right before he destroys the machine, there's that thing where he's sitting down, I guess because he was captured.
Yep, yeah.
And he just sort of stands up and then holds 9 people at gunpoint.
Yeah. It just...
That was the bowling pins comment I made, because he threw one into 3 of them.
I would like to think that this was all conscious, that they're just bad at violence, but again, it's not. Like, this is not a choice of the director, a choice in the script. It's just how it plays out. But yeah, it's just like, all right, everybody, do what I say. I have a gun.
Kirk is insistent on reducing everybody to his level with his whole speech about how we're all killers. And the goal is to make it to the end of the day.
Yeah. Knowing that we won't kill today.
He's in KA, I guess.
Oh my God. Peace or utter destruction. It's up to you. Yeah. Kirk hates the fact that they have a sustainable war. Like, and he hates cool dispassionate violence. Kirk wants to like rip open the neck of his enemy and drink the blood of his jugular vein. Like that's proper war in Kirk's mind.
And even earlier in this episode, act, when Anan is rationally spelling out the consequences of this inadvertent escalation that's going on, Kirk only cares about that description in the context that it seems to scare Anan.
Yeah. Like, are you afraid to die,
consequences,
pussy?
No, it's just about that interaction with that person only.
Oh, you don't want to be blown up by a fusion bomb? You think being able to hug your family goodbye and step into a disintegration booth is somehow better? Kill yourself. It's just like, what are you talking about, psychopath?
And at the very end is Kirk basically says the taking a calculated risk with the entire society as collateral on his hunch was a good decision.
No, it wasn't.
It was a calculated risk. I had a feeling they would do anything to avoid war, maybe even talk peace. Feelings not much to go on. Well, Mr. Spock, sometimes it's all we have to go on as humans.
And then, like many of these ending quips, I don't understand the exchange. So Spock says, Captain, you almost make me believe in luck, which I get. But then Kirk says, why, Mr. Spock, you almost make me believe in miracles. What is the miracle him believing in luck?
Maybe it sounded good. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Maybe miracles is the only remaining expression of religious belief at this point in time.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, luckily, though, that's the end of the episode.
Let's go. All right. Go.
Okay, I'm going to say it was pretty metal. I'm going to maintain the 8 metal. There was some sloppiness. I do like blowing up the computer. I do like telling people they should commit actual war. I do like holding 9 people at gunpoint. I do like not caring that your friend dies. So I'm going to give it an 8 and an 8.
What about picking up a war out of nowhere?
Yeah. Just like out of pure expectation.
I like the blatant disregard for your own rules to blatantly disregard the rules of the planet others. You're on. Yeah. And playing a genocidal chicken is pretty metal too.
Yep.
Yeah, so whatever I gave the previous thing, just add a half to both scores. Because I think
so
that's
a 9
fair.
and a 7.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I pick a 9 and 8. I think this last act has a lot of entertainment value, resolves the story pretty well, and is metal as heck. I mean, and just all the lecturing Kirk does without considering alternative positions. He just knows how things should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very quintessential metal Kirk episode. I think. I mean, the situation it's doubly metal, right? Because I feel like the whole system they have is pretty brutal and pretty metal. But also the Kirk's sort of blind, almost uncontrollable hatred of it is also pretty metal. So good things all around.
Well, and the way they just destroy the fabric of two societies, leave one guy who is demonstrably incompetent to support, and then fly away before anything's resolved. It was merely outlook hopeful, says the idiot.
And this is their like standard operating procedure too. Like, how many times have we seen Captain Kirk leave the worst qualified person behind to fix a problem that he personally made?
Right. I think in the last step, his love of penal colonies and romance of colonizing Australia. He leaves the worst historian ever.
Yep.
To support, and then there's the terrible sociologist on the Archon planet.
Yeah. So it's just amazing. All right. Well, I have our scores now. So our average score is a 7.5979166667. The most metal quality act, the kind of best act, strangely, is the last act, barely. But the second and first acts were also pretty good. The absolute score is a 182.35, which is a 74.13%, which makes this something like the sixth most metal episode so far. It is just under the previous episode, Space Seed. Court Martial, with an impressive 96.2%, is still the overall most metal episode so far. The Galileo 7 is above this one. It beat out The Conscience of the King, The Balance of Terror. It just beat out The Corbinite Maneuver and is just under Dagger of the Mind. So this is a solid episode. Everyone should watch it. Everyone will enjoy it, hopefully. And if not, go fuck yourself.
All right. And we'll see you next time for This Side of Paradise.
Yeah, another great quality episode.
My favorite instance of restorative violence ever, I think. We'll see if it holds up.
Nice.
I also get to do a closing. Until next time, Metal Nation, if we are able to source penis hats, you can buy your very own Podcasting Down penis hat at steelresolve.com.
I'm all in.
Keep it metal.
Cast them down.
We already gave you the outro.
I know.
The tell will be, are you going to cut it and put it in the right place?
Nope. Now, would you want the pointy penis hat or the one with the flat on top?
I like the flat on top.
Yeah.
It's a little less aggressive.